All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to podcast number 2 of Local Heroes. So, my second podcast was with a local manufacturer, Elliot Krause. So, met Elliot a few years back when I bought my house. His parents lived next door. So, yeah, we met fairly early on when I moved to the sunny coast. So Elliot was telling me back then that he was going to get a sunglasses company going. He wanted to design and manufacture his own sunnies and develop that brand. So a few years ago, I was still sort of talking about what I was doing, and we were sort of bouncing stuff off each other back and forth. And it's now at a point where he's sort of got his little company up and running. He's got a few products to take to market. He's got a bit of product in some shops, and he's doing the local market. So he's really developing his product. So it's really great to sit down and have a talk with somebody else that's sort of on that, the infancy levels of getting a product and a brand to market, because it is very challenging. It's good to sort of have a chat with people that are doing that and developing their products, and it's also a bit of a story, and it's interesting to see where it is now from where it was when we first started talking about it, and then start projecting to where it's going to be in 5 to 10 years down the track. Those first few years are pretty tough, trying to be the salesman, trying to be the brand manager, trying to develop your product, trying to design your product, trying to sell your product. There's just so much that goes into getting something up and running. Especially, I think in this day and age, there's a lot of competition. There's probably more competition than there ever was before. So it's good to have a chat with people that are doing stuff on the early levels, in the infancy, and to have a bit of a discussion about sort of how things are happening and how it's sort of unfolding. But I had a great conversation with Elliot. He did bring around a couple of bottles of wine, so we did get a little salubrious by the end, which you'll probably hear my questions start getting a little salubrious at the end. But it was a great conversation, and I'm looking forward to sitting down again with Elliot in another 12 months or a couple of years and sort of see where it's all going. But I think he's got a great little brand, Hashy and Herb. So check him out on Insta or Facebook. It's HASHYAND Herb, HERB. So cool little name, cool little sunglass brand. Support your local manufacturers and show them some love. And keep your money in your community. It's all good stuff that we're doing, that we're working towards, and trying to build a community-based economy on the sunny coast and throughout the world. So thanks for having a listen, guys, and I hope you enjoy the conversation with Elliot Krause. Adios, amigos. Last year, so I've been wanting to do a podcast start a podcast for I don't know, since start of last year, since my mate Baldy put me onto him. And ever since I'd listened to him, I'm like, man, these things are fucking fantastic. So I want to interview local people doing cool shit. I want to have a chat with MS Surfboards, I think, is up next. Yeah. Mitch Sermon, obviously, he's doing cool shit.
He's doing a lot of cool
Lives
stuff.
just down the road, so start local and then start branching out,
Yeah, absolutely.
When we go travelling, we'll bang a few out, so.
Yeah.
All right, so
awesome.
3, 2, 1, kicking off. Sitting here with Elliot Krause from Hashy and Herb. Yeah, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Ben.
Local Heroes is the name of the podcast too, by the way. I probably didn't tell you that before.
Oh, you're making me blush.
Yeah, no, that's so cool, man. So welcome. This is number 2, Local Heroes with Elliot. Thought we'll get this one cracking. So I'll give you a bit of a background on myself and Elliot. I was I moved into the house next door, actually, to where Elliot grew up. And, I moved in and me and Elliot got to talking. And and back a few years ago, Elliot was going, oh man, I want to fucking start this company. I want to make sunnies. And he sort of started banging out a few pairs of sunnies. And at the time I was getting Beaker and Bentley off the ground. And so it's been a few years. And I think for both of us, as somebody that had an idea and then, have taken it and developed it and are continuing to work on it, we're going to sit down and have a bit of a chat about the ups and downs, the pros and cons, and the good things, and everything about having your own small business. And I'm excited to talk to Elliot because I met Elliot a few years ago, and I see where he's at now and how he's charging with it and how he's really starting to progress and starting to branch out and develop his product. And I know that it's a lot of hard work, and there's a lot of times when you're starting a small business where you get sort of down and out, or you get a bit downtrodden because you see these other bigger brands, corporate brands that have been around for a while, and they're probably sponsoring some cool humans, and they're doing cool shit, and you go, fuck, like I'm never gonna get to that point. But it's cool to see Elliot after a few years, and he's charging, he's really pushing on it, and he's doing something cool and unique and pushing in his own direction, and it's local, and he's starting to develop his brand. So, mate, that's just my little introduction. We met, you and me next door neighbour. You're doing some cool sunnies. So, yeah, do you want to tell us about Hashy and Herb and about?
Mate, it's funny that you mentioned that. It has been a couple of years, but I've got to be honest. Out of those 3 years or so, there was probably a lot of the time where the interest died because of a direct result of what you mentioned earlier, with that pressure and that fear of not being able to compete with the big dogs, and then your sort of self-doubt creeps in, and then all of a sudden, your little flame of an idea just sort of quietly just goes on autopilot, and other things take over, and you've got to make money with your normal job, and then social
life gets in the way, man. Eh?
Gets in the way. And then and as you're probably aware, and as probably most people that find themselves in this position or predicament where they're trying to get their little label off the ground, the world of difference can come from someone that comes into your life like a partner. And for myself, my partner Kim is probably a direct result of Hashy and Herb getting relaunched, rebranded, so to speak, but obviously keeping the name. The reason and the drive was all the same, but just finding that inspiration after being lost in the wilderness. You know what I mean? Like it just sort of the idea for me, it became more of a burden with all the self-doubt and just the fear of what it won't be, rather than thinking, well, hang on, just keeping straight and narrow, focus on the goal. And these are things that I sort of realised after Kim reignited the passion, that just plod along at with your beliefs and keep going for what you were going for, and then through that it just really opened my eyes as to why I started it in the first place, and all that passion came flooding back, and all of a sudden I was just hitting the notepad and getting ideas down and new designs, and everything was flowing. But yeah, the point there that I'm making is it's easy to drift, but having that support network is it's just priceless.
Yeah, man, that's huge, man. And like I've definitely noticed that development as well. Like I remember messaging you a couple times there, probably, I don't know, a year or so ago, and just saying, hey man, what have you been doing? I think I was doing my market stall at the time, and if you want to grab your sunnies and get them involved.
Yeah, I remember that.
Didn't hear back from you for a while. And then all of a sudden, I'm seeing you charging. You got your social media thing happening, which takes time, admittedly. All of these things, they take time to develop, and I think all of a sudden, like, you've really come back with some mad energy, which I think is fucking fantastic, and the new designs that you got going on, and developing your your products, because I know we were just talking before, we're just having some dinner before and having a chat and catching up, and we're talking about, you know, like having this expectation of your friends like supporting, you know, the local business or supporting their mates. Like a lot of my mates still haven't bought my shirts. People that are like super, super close mates, I guess they think they should get free shit or whatever. I don't know how it works, but I just think that aspect of it really interests me, and a lot of my mates have always said like, oh, I wouldn't wear those sunnies, or for me, I wouldn't wear that t-shirt, I wouldn't wear that hat, I wouldn't, you know, I don't surf, whatever.
Yeah.
So quite often, you know, you do have to sort of, even though you're a small business, have a bit of product and have quite a bit of different options for people, which I think we're both at that point where we're really trying to sort of develop our product range a little bit. So you have the options, you know, because then you have the ability for every, you know, each individual to be able to go, okay, I'm gonna line myself up with that, or I'm gonna wear that. I want to wear that. You know, I always think myself personally, it's like, what would my dad wear? You know what I mean? And then what would some crazy fucking 18-year-old punk wear? You know what I mean? And it's like, what am I gonna deliver, and where am I gonna deliver that? You know?
And I think I mean, exactly. I think you just hit the nail on the head there. Like there's some of the doubts that creep into your mind. Like, how do you please everybody? And what's
your target market?
Well, I mean, you've got to have a target market.
What would you say your target market?
Well, I'd say, you know, between 20 and 40 would be my target market at the moment. Mm-hmm. But then, you know, just referring back to what you said about your friends, you know, sometimes you think, well, what you're thinking, why doesn't my friend just buy it just to support me? Mm. You know what I mean? Yeah, but then, you know, it all comes down to the marketing too. Mm. But it all comes down, I think the main thing, the biggest sort of thing that I took away from that conversation earlier over dinner was that, you know, you've got to stick to your guns and deliver the product that's true to what your belief is as well. Mm-hmm. Okay. But yes, fair enough. You do have to cover a bit of a broad sense to get better market value from each people's sort of perspectives. But I think as long as when you're developing the brand, in my little small experience, is that, you know, if your branding's true to your beliefs, it's a lot more identifiable through people. People recognise that if you're selling with a passion at the markets, and you know your product, and when you tell the story about how or why it's made or your ideas, then I think people really buy into that.
Oh, absolutely. The idea that you're designing stuff, and like, I mean, I've tried making stuff, you know, in Australia, and it's super hard. I mean, manufacturing in Australia practically doesn't exist, other than a couple of, like, maybe Rio still gets made in Australia, like steel, and like, you know, like basic shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? And even the steel mills are fucking dying, man. Like like all manufacturing is pretty much dying in the ass, except, you know, people who are putting stuff together, or trades, whatever, like direct, you know, essentially construction. So even in construction, they buy everything from overseas and they assemble shit from stuff that's made overseas. It's crazy.
From resources that are produced
in Australia. It's fucking crazy. But anyway, so like I've tried the line. Like I wanted to go all Australian made shit, and I just couldn't do it purely because that people just don't make shit here. So like the best thing that you can do is like design stuff here, get it made offshore, and then, you know, and then be able to deliver it. But like all of the big brands, like everyone's doing that, right? So I mean, design wise, like we're designing a pair of sunnies now, man, and it, like, that's exciting, man, and that's what you need people to sort of align themselves with, or to understand, you know, whether it's your mates or like, you don't have this $1 million fucking marketing thing. You can't go out and buy a pro surfer that's like in the top 20 or whatever, or
sure.
So yeah, it's got to be a grassroots development, you know,
and that's why it's important to have, you know, it's important to have your passion and your beliefs down, because you know, people might turn their nose up that it's manufactured in China, say, but if you've got the story there and the passion's there about why the design is the way that it is.
And quality too, man.
Yeah, the quality.
There's quality control.
Similar quality, you know, like we get our stuff manufactured in China, okay? It's not made in Italy, but it is handcrafted, right? And all of our designs are inspired from living on the Sunshine Coast, daily life on the Sunshine Coast, whether it's a place, a street, or a person, or even if it's not directly related to the Sunshine Coast, but from my experience, for example, I've got another design coming out that's my favourite author. Now that's growing up. That favourite author of mine is Hunter S. Thompson. And he's, I feel, had a direct...
I love those sunnies too. They look sick, man.
Yeah,
I think they look great.
Style.
And then, you know what? You even sold me on them because I saw that and I'm like, boom. I've got a Ralph Steedman shirt that's just that fucking, you know, like the Hunter S. Thompson, Fear and Loathing, like the italics.
Yeah.
Like that written, and that was my first fucking logo of my of my surfboards and shit.
So he's touched us all.
Oh, bro! As soon as I saw it, I was like, "Damn!" Like we all love that abstract weirdness. You know what I mean? But it's like a lot of people that want to be weird can't be because they got normal jobs. You know, so it's like your weekend sunnies.
Yeah. No, but that's it, mate. Like the thing is, you know, like but that's it. It's not, obviously Hunter S. Thompson is not from the Sunshine Coast, but it's my
spin on it. It's your version.
Yeah, that's right. And he's inspired me to become sort of, well, in some small fragments, who I am today.
Yeah, you love it, man.
Yeah, just through the style of writing and this creativity level. Okay, so there's the relay back to that. But yeah, just going back to that, you know, we've got the handcrafted. All our frames are handcrafted, right? It's not in Italy and it's not by Luxottica or some big brand like that. But it is the same quality, okay? It does take a long process.
So what is the process of making your sunnies, man?
Okay, so
how does that work? Because I heard you the other day at the markets having a chat with a lady and like you got some put up mad photos and shit of your tumble dryers and you got glass lenses and you got polarization and you got all this cool shit, man.
Yep.
You know?
So yeah, we'll put through at our market store, I've got this flyer that's just sort of a basic step-by-step guide of from the design process from a sketch to delivering the finished product in the packaging. And just to be brief, it does skip through, you know, I'll sit down, sketch out the design relative to what's the inspiration. Just to pick, for example, I've got a style that's out now called Dewporth, which is directly related to Dewporth Ab Maroochydore. Now, when I sat down to come up with this concept, it was basically, you know, Dewporth was sort of a forgotten place along with Ocean Street in Maroochydore, you know, sort of a back street. No one ever went there, run down a little bit. And then the last couple of years, this very good organisation has brought it back to life along with Ocean Street. And I'm sure a lot of locals of the Sunshine Coast are aware now that that's the place to be.
She's
on the
pumping, man.
Yeah, first weekend of every month.
I remember. It's funny, man. Like, I've only been on the coast for 4 years now. But I guess I'm still ringing from far north Queensland. But I remember when I went to the opening of Soul Bar when it was Old Soul.
Yeah.
And I used to sell fucking hair products. And
I didn't know that.
And I went to the opening of Old Soul on Ocean Street, and I loved it. I was like, man, I'm going to move to the sunny coast one day. I love this place.
Yeah, well, just for a bit of further local knowledge, Old Soul used to be in Coolum.
There you go, bud.
Yeah,
so Old Soul, great grandfather
Old Soul. Yeah. We used to sneak in there when we were underage.
Yeah.
Yeah, mate. But anyway, as I was saying, Dewporth, you know, it was old. They've refurbished it. So with my design, I wanted to really capture that something that was old that has been renewed. So I went for like a 1950s look.
Love the retro look too.
Well, that's
man.
it.
Roy Orbison shit. I love that shit. We're going for some mad Roy Orbison.
Well, there's a bit of that in our little collaboration. That's
we're
right.
doing
yeah.
too. It's exciting, bro. Hella exciting.
We are. We'll check out our Instagram for
we'll be posting that
constant
shit up real
updates
soon, man.
But yeah, look, I wanted to incorporate just that sort of old school look with something modern. So just
it's always about blending that, isn't it, man? Like I always think about like what I'm doing and making like twin fin surfboards and like having that retro feel.
Yeah.
But then also taking into mind the fact that we are in 2017, 2018 now.
Yeah.
It's a fucking new year. But we're in the future, right? We're in the future, and Elon Musk is fucking launching rockets
to the moon
with like $1 billion fucking. I don't know if that they
Rocket
lost
change.
that rocket or they didn't, or if that was just like pressed to like try and offshoot the Chinese to believe that it didn't actually get missing. But now there's $1 billion rocket actually spying on us that can probably like listen to what we're saying.
Yeah,
I don't know, man, but you know what I mean. We live in the future. But, we want to incorporate all of that beautiful shit that was, like, around in the 50s and 60s when Hendrix and fucking Bob Dylan and, like, the Dylan Sonnies, like, the real round ones. Like, like a lot of those super round,
you got to throw it
Roy
back.
Orbison. And it's the same with guitars, man. Like, okay, I love guitars, bro. I got a 64 Fender Duo Sonic, which is... It's like a smaller scale version of a Telecaster or a Strat, but they still make every single fucking guitar comes off of that shape from the 60s because it worked. Yeah. And funnily enough, Leo Fender, he never even played fucking music, man. He never even played guitar, but he made these fucking guitars that play so amazingly. And it's the same with Sonny's, man. You got like your Hunter S, like classic styles. You've got these Roy Orbison, like these people that made these, like the Ray-Bans that made these things.
Oh, absolutely.
Sort of timeless. So yeah, it's all about sort of encompassing that retro vibe, but also being able to like acknowledge the fact that we do live in 2020. And what are people going to be wearing in 20 years in Sonny's? You know what I mean? And clothing.
Well,
Thinking
you know
about
what?
that. You know what I mean?
Well, history repeats itself, but so does fashion in a sense too, because it was only a couple of years ago the whole, as you were saying, the round sunglass movement came back in. So, my first couple
the
of...
The hipsters will tell you it's still in,
that's
man.
It was still in, yeah. But I seem to think it's going in other ways now, in ovals and squares. But stay tuned on that. But, look, mate, when the first designs that I put out were the Fortitude and the Cartwright, and they were based on that round shape coming back in, And like you said, the 60s and 70s was all about round.
But it is about face shape too.
It is face shape too,
a lot of people
right?
roll whatever.
But that's it.
And it's about the shape of your head too.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
There's such a broad genre to cover, and when you're shaping surfboards.
Yeah, man.
Some people ride mals, some people ride thrusters, some people like the planks with the quad fin. Like, it's just... But you can't please everyone. And I think being someone up and coming as well, you sort of, this is where I'm relating it back. You've got to stay true to what your beliefs are and, what your focus is. And then as it progresses, it's just all
self-doubt kicks in, man. Like I had last year was a big year for me too. Like I went from being like a business partner to a business owner. And then from being, a business owner, like, if you're an independent individual living in 2017, you're also in a competitive market. I mean, in the 70s and 60s, dudes like Gordon Merchant from Billabong and, a lot of those guys from that period, they weren't competing with anyone. There was no surf industry. And they created a surf industry, and whether it's sunglasses, Ray-Bans probably had a handful of competitors, now there's fucking thousands, maybe even millions of competitors. So the competition, is fierce at this point in time.
Absolutely.
But in saying that, and what we were talking about before, is that there seems to be a real development in retail with sort of local support and gaining sort of local support
100%.
from to me, the way that I see it happening, and I could be wrong, but I think that there's a lot more sort of young brands out there with the development of the internet and with the development of us having the capacity and the ability to not have to jump on a plane and fly to China and being able to communicate and connect with so-and-so wherever.
Which traditionally was only up to the big corporations to have that kind of reach.
Well, and they started at certain points and were able to develop it. So, there's mad competition, but I think that the retail side of things is, and the reason why things, like, I'm just going to sort of break it down to how I see it. Like, these days, I see tattoo shops mixed in with hairdressing salons, mixed in with coffee shops, mixed in with fucking dudes selling sunny, like, So retail is not dying. No. It's still fucking on the growth, but it's actually it's diversifying and developing. Yeah. And people are getting sort of wittier and smarter. So, have you got any retail shops that you're selling in at the minute?
At the moment, we're sort of in talks with a couple, but we actually have come to an agreement and made a deal with Dessa Store in Prigian Beach.
That's a sick looking shop, man. I jumped on Insta and had a look at them. I haven't been there, but
well, I'll tell you what,
cool, man.
Yeah, Mark runs really cool business in there. He is very keen to promote up and coming local business as well. That's awesome. I've had a bit of a chat with Mark a couple of times I've been in there, and the feeling that you get from speaking with the guy like Mark and just seeing his depth of marketing and advertising, but not only he's been in the game for the big stuff, but he's also really keen to. He's pumped actually to get young up and coming brands. Yeah, that's the feeling I got. Like,
well, man, the young and up and coming brands now, to me, in 10 years, 20 years, depending on the energy and the effort you put into it. Like, I'm going to start in Noosa, and you can throw some shit onto this, man. But you got Thomas Surfboards, right? Yeah. Thomas he's got a surfboard shop with a coffee shop with a hairdressing shop with fucking clothing. Yeah, he's killing it. Yeah. I think I'm seeing his updates. He's about to build a fucking bigger retail space. Yeah, right. Oh, when they say retail's dying. So there's Thomas, and then you got Run Amok Visuals up there. So he's doing some mad shirts and shit. Yeah. I think he's from up that way. And then if you start moving down the coast, you got, there's skate shops, there's clothing, you're made at Perigian. So there's so many people that are just like contributing to the local culture or like the local vibe, the local community. But what fascinates me is that when I go down to, say, Fisherman Road markets, I still see people wearing Billabong. I still see people wearing fucking what's that brand that's from the Goldie, the fishing dudes? The dudes are the fishing shit. I don't know. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's all these there's people just wearing other people's shit, you know what I mean? Because crazy. Whatever they're branded to.
And the Sunshine Coast is you got your inner city hipsters and all that, and I think it's a branch from that vibe. I think there's a lot of, the inner city sort of hipster movement with all the little individual, like, indie brands and all that is coming up and playing a big role up here.
It's forging ahead, bro.
And like you said, retail, if you go to the Sunshine Plaza and you buy, all your big name brands, maybe that is a trend that is dying down on the coast because a lot more people are waking up and thinking, let's do our own thing. Why can't we? Now that we've got access to quality manufacturing in China, now that we can, rub a couple of cents together and come up with an idea, you look at other predominantly brands that started off local that are now huge, like the horse watches and things like that just seem so basic. But it's the culture and the idea behind it and the momentum that it gets. Good marketing as well, obviously. But I think people are more sort of rushing out to spend their dollars. What I'm picturing, anyway, or what I'm noticing, that they are more keen to go to the markets and spend money on something that is telling a story or that is a bit more localised, something that they can relate to. And that's a big drive behind Hashy and Herb as well, is that...
okay, so that's interesting. What I'm interested in, Elliot, and I'm always a futurist. I always like to have a thought for like 12 months down the track, 2 years, 10 years. So let's sit here and have a conversation and have a projection for 12 months down the track. And then let's have a projection for 10 years down the track.
Well,
so tell us, like, obviously in the last 3 years, I've definitely seen a mad energy. And this is also holding yourself to account. Like, I'm excited to go, okay, what am I going to do in 12 months?
Yeah.
10 years, you know what I mean? Because, fuck, that first, for me, like, it's been like 5 or 6 years since I started my small business. And it's been real struggle street for me, man. But like, I've just been charging, pushing hard, you know, like, and sometimes I've had, like, last year for me was a Debbie Downer. I you know, had a real, you know, had a new baby, a new wife, a new house, like an old new house, but all these things that were just like other things, you know, that will take your interest away from your reality, or take your interest away from your passion. Like, I'm so passionate about what I'm doing, and I want to build a beautiful brand. But so
it's like a catch-22 for you.
Yeah, but I mean, fuck it. But... You know what? Like, forget about all that.
Yeah.
And like, where would you like? Where do you want to see Hashy and Herb in 12 months? Because I'm going to make you sit down with me in 12 months, and we're going to go, are you at that point, or aren't you?
Well, that's good. And
give these listeners, they're going to grow with us, and
perhaps
there's a few more.
Yeah, and if we didn't have this conversation and you were not holding me so accountable right now, I think
both of us, we're both going to go through this, man. All right?
Yeah, no, look, 12 months from now, I want to.
How many Instagram followers?
Oh, mate, Instagram
social
followers,
media, fuck it.
Hey, my Instagram followers are like the tide at Maroochydore Beach. They come in and they go out. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's really hard.
Welcome to the real world.
Yeah, no,
like,
it's cool. And that's it. And you know, when you're on Instagram, you add all your followers.
Thanks to all the real fuckers that press like and hang around for more than 5 minutes.
And you know, you see your competitors, the people you follow that have like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 plus. And you think, wow, like, you know, I keep ebbing and flowing on this certain amount. But anyway, to answer your question, look, for me, I think it's a pretty modest goal for 2018. I think it's capture the Sunshine Coast market.
Yeah, good idea.
Get
man.
everyone.
Keep it local, yeah.
That's it. Get everyone buying into the fact that that our brand is local, that it represents local, that it's designed.
You should go on CMS, man. Mitch should put his sunnies in your shop, bro. These local fuckers, you know. Get them in there.
Oh, mate. Look, and yeah, they are, and I am doing that.
Thomas, like all those dudes, man. Well, like you've got something that is compatible with surfing,
absolutely, but
and at an affordable price too. You're not fucking charging crazy dollars.
Well, that's it, mate.
Sunnies.
I mean, our product is a quality product, handmade, steel reinforced, premium acetate. We either use mineral glass lens polarized or CR39 polarized, which is like the highest quality polycarbonate lens you can get. So our lenses are super crisp, super clear, but you know, the thing is, obviously, as you mentioned, we can't just go out and charge an arm and a leg for a no-name brand, and Sunshine Coast wouldn't expect that. You know,
at the end of the day, you want to deliver something real high quality, real nice,
and that's what it is,
at an affordable price too.
And that's what it is. But you know, look, just in answer to the original question, which I've just sort of lost.
12 months, Bruss.
12
Where do you
months.
see yourself in 12 months?
There you go, 12 months. Sunshine Coast local market, okay? I just want my customers to buy into the fact that it's a homegrown product. It's something to be proud of. You know?
I'm on it, bro. As soon as you got those Hunter S things, man, I'll be wearing them. Taking that shit to Burning Man, bro.
Oh, you're taking it out of the local atmosphere.
Oh, fuck yeah, bro. I'll fucking sell that shit in Vegas.
Yeah, well, mate, when the collaboration comes out too. I mean, look, and that's the thing, just going right back to where we first started, you know, you want your friends to support your brand as well, and a lot of my friends have, and I'm very, very grateful for that. A lot of my partners' friends have as well, which is awesome. My mum and dad wear my sunglasses. They probably don't like it, but they have to say that they do.
Man, I see. That's a funny thing you said. Like, I saw some middle-aged lady the other day. I rolled in at the markets, and you know, she was frothing on them, man. She bought a pair and she seemed pretty stoked. But yeah, she was also engaged and interested in the story of like being a local brand. But man, you got a sick setup too. You got like a really nice, well-rounded product that you back, and I love the name. Where did the name come from?
Yeah, okay. So the name, a lot of people ask me where the name Hashy and Herb comes from, and a lot of people when they read it, they go, "Oh, I know what you're up to."
Yeah, that's what even my friends have said. Oh, yeah, he obviously loves smoking billies or something, and I'm like, dude, this
actually never smoked a billy in my life.
Doesn't even smoke billies. As if you've never smoked it.
No, I've had a joint here and there. Not the billy smoker. It actually burns my throat. But no, well, it is obviously directly related to hemp, okay? Mm-hmm. And it is for a future prediction of where I want to steer the company to.
Good, man.
Okay?
Yeah. You want to do hemp?
I'm not going to give it all away just now, but, you know, let's just say in this day and age that it's unachievable for me, but eventually it will be. Nice. Yes, okay. And plus, it's just a cool name. I thought, you know, I thought Hashy and Herb.
You're a futurist, bro. Good on you, man. So am I, bro. I think about that shit all the time.
Yeah,
I love it though.
But you know what?
Great name. I love it.
Well, you know, Sunshine Coast hemp, textile, and medicinal industry is about to kick off.
They're about to fire.
There's a big license in an unknown location, which I think we know where it is. My partner's nodding. We actually know where it is. But look, it's the way of the world, and forever in a day,
man,
hemp
is
has
the way
been,
of the future, bro.
You know,
it is.
It's healing properties, it's textile properties,
CBD, THC,
the quality, the cost that it is,
strong, easy to produce.
I think we've answered the question.
Yeah, no, that's cool, man. I really dig the fact that you took an idea that was like way in the future and then brought it back to now, and then you're able to develop that. I think about that shit all the time.
And just while we're on that subject, actually the material that we use for Hashy and Herb frames at the moment is a naturally based product. When I say naturally based, I mean that the type of plastic that it is actually derived from wood and cotton pulps. Okay, so what we're talking about here is obviously a bit of a scientific process, but let's just say that it's all starts with timber pulp and cotton pulp being mechanically, obviously, and chemically induced to produce the plastic that we make our frames out of. So
it's not a petroleum-based plastic.
It's not. No, well, that's right. There is obviously nasties added in to get the whole thing happen.
Yeah, you're doing your best to fucking.
But that's it. But the base is a natural product. So it's actually funny. Before our frames are cut, which are cut out of a sheet, you can imagine a sheet of this product.
Yeah.
You know, it would be like a 120 by say 300 sheet, maybe like ranging in thickness.
What would you call that for the American listeners? It'd be like 5 inches by probably 20 inches. Or something.
You go. You know, and then 5 mil thick. So 5 mil thick. I say. Like a half inch, quarter inch, yeah. Okay, so that essentially gets put in a machine, and then my designs after they're hand sketched, then get put through a CAD system, which is, your online design system. And then the machines is fed my design, and it cuts it out with a little router, sort of a fixture. Okay, so then it's just a frame. Then what happens is that part there will then
that's your frame.
That's the frame, the raw frame, flat. Well. No, the arms get cut out separately, obviously.
Okay, arms and frame, yep.
So then that is all just flat. There's no curvatures, nothing else, no detail. That then gets chucked into a tumbler full of wood chips, and then we'll tumble that for 3 or 4 days to belt out, all the hard edges, get that real nice,
soften it.
That softened look, and then what will happen is there's a bit more sort of smoothing and edging off. Then obviously a lot of polishing. Then we'll get that put into a little machine.
Depending on what finish you want,
depending on the finish, exactly.
Another day looks sick.
Exactly. Sometimes we've got a matte finish. Sometimes we've got a high gloss finish. There's another one that we're thinking of coming up with in our little collaboration.
Yeah.
That's like a beaten, weathered finish.
I'm ready for that.
I know. We've got to ask your boss if that's it.
Hey, that's all on your side.
Okay.
The weathered grit, I'm excited about
the Dillabar bash look.
I guess we should just talk about that frame for a minute because I'm excited about it.
Yeah, okay,
we're talking about Sunnies and we're talking about a collab.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a Beaker and Bentley Hashy and Herb collab, and
so
we got this pair of frames that we got in. Buenas noches, mama.
Buenas noches, mamacita.
Saying good night to the wife. A pair of frames that when myself and my wife were in Tokyo, I spotted this pair of frames, and we're walking through Harajuku, which for anyone that's been to Japan is like the main shopping street of Japan, and I fucking was like, boom, Lily, you should buy them. And she's like, okay. So she bought a pair of them. Well, I thought she bought one pair, but she ended up buying 2 pairs. So we got back to Australia, and I stole her pair straight up because they were pretty funky. They were real classic, even feminine-y, little Catwoman type, like classic Roy Orbison, just good shape. I love wearing a little bit feminine-y sunnies. It comes from, like, my passion about sunnies comes from my stepfather, Ross, who, taught me to make surfboards, but he's like, in the 70s we used to wear our grandma's sunnies. You know what I mean? It just and that's what he would tell me. He's like, you get spaced out and go and eat mushrooms, and you'd wear your grandma's sunnies. You know what I mean? Like that real funk. You know what I mean? So so cool. I stole Lily's sunnies. I put them on, and then she pulled out another pair. So she had like 2 pairs of these sunnies that she bought in Japan, and they were cool. And we had them for like a year. We had them for ages, and we both wear them, and people would go, your sunnies are sick. And we go, we got them in Tokyo. And then Lily's pair broke. And then my pair went missing like 2 weeks ago. But so we're going to pull a shape off that, man. It's the same as making surfboards. You go, I love that board. I fucking love that board. All right, let's redesign it. Let's tweak it. Let's put some new colors in it. Let's fucking put a new finish on it. Let's make something unreal that's off of that thing that you love, the Hunter S or the Dewporth or the Absolutely. What are we going to call these ones, man?
Oh, that's up to, I think we haven't come across that. But I like what you just said, like even if you relate it back to surfboards, there's no design that hasn't vaguely been touched on
Fender
before.
Guitars and shit.
That's right.
Man. We were talking about that just before we started.
It. So it's how you portray that concept, you know what I mean? Like you take it, you put your spin on it. That's it. You put your little twist on it, you make it yours, okay?
Well, we're not in the t-shirts, man. Like I'm frothing to make,
Well, look at every song that's been created in the world. Isn't it a derivative of like something? C, A, and G chord, exactly, you know what I mean? Like it's all the same.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, 7, and there's some sharps and majors in there, but that's every song in the whole world.
Every song
off 7 notes.
So I mean,
crazy. You're just doing a spin on something.
So these Tokyo ones, when you sent them over to me, and I sat down, and I was on my sketching table, and I was like, far out. Like, these are not what I'd usually do, but you know, I can see something in here that I can put my spin on it and still keep true to the idea, and that sort of that kind of look, that flavour that you were really drawn to.
Well, I got a big head too, and Lily's got a big head. She's 5'3", but her head's as big as mine, which we were talking about before.
We actually did talk about that.
Yeah. I struggle with sunnies, man, because if I love a pair of sunnies, it doesn't matter. Like, and that's what we we're talking about before too. Is that, you know, different frames, different shapes, different heads. There's some people that are 5'2" that have got a huge head, you know what I mean? And you think those sunnies will fit them, and they don't. Sunnies are an extension of your personality, the same as a surfboard, the same as shoes, same as a t-shirt, same as the boardies.
They are.
Same as everything. Like, everything that you wear is an extension of your personality. And anyone who tries to tell you anything different is full of shit. You know, like, everything that you do and say and wear is an extension of who you are, or at least some kind of sense of yourself. You know, so we're sitting here talking about sunnies. We've got a pair of sunnies that we're working on, which I'm super pumped about. And, you know, they're probably something a little bit abstract or different from where you're looking ahead, but collaborations are exciting, man.
Hey, it's all about the collaboration. But like I said, we're designing this. I've got this sketch in front of me right now that I've just put up together as a tweak.
It's not the absolute sunny.
But I'd wear them.
It's not the absolute sunny.
No, that's it.
That we didn't just copy it. No. It's like, no, you come back to me with something.
I know, and I'm looking at it. It's
different and tweaked.
It's really fat arms on them, and you know, it's really chunky and wide. But it's something that I would wear. I wouldn't have probably worn the ones that. The original ones,
no.
But now I've sort of put it in, and hopefully it's something you'll wear as well. And that's what it is, collaboration on the coast. Like, just going back to, you know, where do you see yourself in 12 months?
Well, we're going to go. The next question is going to be 10 years.
Yeah, well, that's it. Well,
I'm going to answer the question too. But
well, that's good.
What you're saying.
Yeah, no, well, I hope so. And well, the direct answer I think that I put out was that I want to capture the Sunshine Coast market.
Yeah.
But also, I'd love to collaborate.
Yeah. Anyone who's interested.
Why should a surfboard shaper and a sunglass maker collaborate? There's no reason traditionally why that would happen. But this is what we're doing now.
This makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, hey, okay, let's put it out there. If you're a fucking young skater, if you're a young surfer, and you're ripping, there's people out there that are interested in sponsoring you, and even maybe help. You can design your own pair of sunnies, your own boardies, your own t-shirt.
Yeah.
So what makes you able to do that? You don't have to be fucking crazy good. You just got to be interested. You got to be engaged. So anybody who is interested in designing a t-shirt, send me a message. Anyone who is, you know, it's got a bit of style and class and is interested in being sponsored some way, shape or form, flick us a message, you know. Let's make it happen. Let's create this shit. Let's get Grommies frothing too. I'm down, fully down for that, man. If some kid is having fun and he's ripping the face of the wave and it's on a single fin or a fucking twin fin or just something unusual or unique, you know, like Larry Bertelman, he was like an old Hawaiian man and he used to rip, you know, and buttons. He used to surf a fucking like an old single, and he'd put the fin way up the front of the fin box, but he wouldn't even tighten it up. He'd just surf it loose, and he'd do 360s, and he'd surf it left, he'd surf it goofy, he'd surf it natural. This cunt would rip, you know. But that's what you want to see is just unique shit, like Chipper Wilson, dudes that are just hitting the face on, like, you know, Neil Purchase Jr. from Rhythm, you know, duos and shit, just doing crazy shit. That's what you want. You know what I mean? So any of those people out there, give us a call. I'm now gonna continue into where do I see myself in 12 months. probably not too much further from where I am. I love podcasting. It's my second podcast. I'd like to see 50 more podcasts. That's what I'd like to see. And I'd like to get a few more, I got a few more products I'd like to get to market. I'm super interested in the hemp game as well, Elliot. I fucking am very interested in that, and I think that is the future, the same as you, and I'm glad that you had that vision for that, because I fucking think that there's a vision for making surfboards out of hemp. I think there's a vision for making t-shirts out of hemp, boardies out of hemp and spandex for fucking boardies, da-da-da.
Yeah.
Let's not go too deep into it because we're futurists. But where do you see yourself in 10 years, man?
Oh, 10 years. Do you know, I think...
10 years, Hashy and Herb, where's it at, bros?
Well, I mean, in 10 years, if we do diversify with these up-and-coming textiles and everything, you know, if the hemp industry kicks off the way
it
that
will,
we...
bro. It will. Yeah.
It has to. It's
will.
a hell of a lot cheaper to produce than cotton. It's a hell of a lot
Less
more...
water.
It grows a lot
quicker.
faster.
Yeah.
It's just all... It all comes down to the government getting that
that's already
legislation
happening.
through. Even though that hemp textile is a completely different strain to smokable or the marijuana.
THC or mole.
It's
Yeah. People still don't understand that, man.
a lot of people don't. And
Not that it matters. All those people that don't understand.
look,
it
there
are
is a big market
They're
for
gonna die
hemp
soon.
plastic. The automotive industry have been using hemp plastic on the dashboards and side paneling for many, many years. It's been happening.
China never deregulated. China's still pumping hemp out. They're the only ones that are still doing a lot of hemp manufacture.
It's actually
They're the only
like
ones.
I don't know the exact amount, but let's just say 100 times stronger than any other sort of textile that we use in mainstream today.
It's super
Oil-based.
strong and super light and grows quick, and there's a lot of benefits to it, man.
Yeah.
To hemp. So in 10 years, you
10
see
years
yourself
time-
with hemp frames.
Well, after we sort of, if we capitalise on the local market and we get a good following, okay, we'd obviously progress naturally to state and then national following, and then, you know, globally these days globally it is achievable now.
Global is local.
Global is local.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, for my brand, it's all about getting Sunshine Coast behind the brand as a local brand. You know what I mean? Like, oh, these are Hashy and Herbs. That's from the Sunshine Coast. They're all designed about, you know, a street that I grew up in, or a place that I know, Cartwright, or you know, that's what I want. I want a Sunshine Coast proud brand. You know what? And then I think the 10-year progression will take care of itself. You know, 10 years these days can be fit into 6 months with how small the world is. You know, with all the technology we have and the internet and all that kind of stuff, you're shipping worldwide for free.
True.
So, I mean, 10 years, okay, put it this way, 10 years might diversify from sunglasses to other products that are made from materials that we want to do.
Who knows? And who knows what materials exist in 10 years,
Exactly right.
They might be pulling some
Unobtainium.
shit out of the moon, bro.
That's it.
They might be pulling some minerals out of the moon, and that shit might be the new cool material to put in sunnies. Or,
Moon
you know what?
rocks.
Sunnies might become fucking... No, I think they'll always be around. But I think it'll be more like... You might be able to do some Google research on that shit. You know what I mean?
You might
They
have
have
a
Google
screen.
glasses.
Google
There could be a screen in there, man.
Actually, have
thing could
Google
be
Glass. You heard it here. That's
Redesigning.
patented, by the way, folks. Don't be trying to do that.
But you know what I mean, like I don't know. A lot of people are going, or if we're going to go futurist, they could be taking them sunglasses, and I don't know. I've always liked sunnies that just like they've got a tint on them, and they make you fucking feel good. You got something that like is real rose coloured, or just like something that's like got a real nice tint on it, and it greens everything up. and it adds like a bit of blue.
Yeah, happy
like
feel.
The trees are colourful and everything's fucking bit bright, but still polarised and eye protecting. But
yeah,
you know what I mean. You want to put a pair of sunnies on, especially them Saturday Sunday ones, because I wear the speed dealer ones like on my normal job.
Sorry, man.
I fucking hate them. You know what I mean? But like on the weekend, it's like I'm wearing these freaking fucking colourful Harajuku sunnies and then speed dealer sunnies during the week. You know? Yeah. Fucking hate those sunnies, but you know.
No, but this is the thing, like, you know, like I said earlier, history repeats itself, fashion repeats itself. So, you know, in 10 years, you always want to think futuristic hoverboards and all that stuff, but, you know, probably the style coming back in 10 years will be what we're putting out now. You know what I mean? And then we'll say as parents, I can't believe you're wearing that shit we used to wear that.
I think post-2000, man, I feel like anything like I still feel like humans haven't even really come to terms.
Nothing.
The fact they were even in the 2000s. I feel like
Back to the Future was a lie.
Since
the Cubs didn't win till the next year.
Since 2000s, nothing's happened in terms of design. It's just been 50s, 60s, 70s. Humans are like, oh, it's 2000. Well, we don't even know what to call that. You know what I mean? It's the 80s, 90s. What the fuck you call the 2000s?
No, I think, yeah, in
2010s. The 2015s,
the noughties,
but like, you know what I mean? Like, we haven't even figured out what we call it yet.
Yeah.
So there's no real. It's just like a take, but like guitars and
it's all the same.
Instruments,
music still made the same.
It's a replication.
Yeah.
T-shirts, it's all a replication of that beautiful time. When I guess acid was really good and design was really good. I don't know if there's a correlation there. There potentially is.
Yeah, well, the acid's got worse, hasn't it? So
yeah. No, I'm just kidding, folks. Don't take any of that what I just said for a grain of salt.
We're drinking red wine, actually. See, red wine goes back to the dawn of time. So,
and yeah, red wine is glorious too. Alright, so let's get back. Okay, 10 years from now, you've said so 10 years from me, holy fuck, bro, that's deep, hey? If you go, okay,
I think
32 now, what am I going to be doing when I'm 42? Who knows, I could be talking, shit could be real deep.
I think in answer to the question about 10 years.
But I always like to think that about surfboards as well, man. Like, what a board's going to look like, then.
Yeah,
you know.
But I think in answer to a 10-year question, I think what's more relevant is that you're on top of the market sort of demands, what sort of maintaining what you believe in, where the company should go or where your idea should go. So I think a 10-year plan in my circumstance might be too general. I think we're always going to be based on a year by year. Yeah, exactly.
Well, you know what, man? You know what my honest belief is sustainability.
Yeah.
And I think that huge, supermassive brands
will die out.
Are unsustainable. And I think that for the future, young people, because it's always young people that buy shit because they don't have kids, are going to be interested in what is sustainable and what is environmentally sourced. Yeah. And I think the whole zero carbon thing is all tip of the iceberg shit. You know, so doing stuff that is sustainably sourced, that's environmentally sourced, or that is essentially coming from a place that's zero carbon is important. And for me, I've got an active interest in that, and I think I'm going to direct this podcast in that direction as much as I can. And so, yeah, the whole Hashy and Herb concept is interesting to me. It's like, okay, I'm going to have this notion of something in the future, but I'm going to call it that, and I'm going to... That product doesn't exist yet, but I'm going to develop my brand on something that I'm hoping... That's a high-risk investment.
Mate, it is.
But I believe in it too. I believe in it too, Elliot. Like, that's the thing. I believe... I've been trying to get, like, fiberglass strand for my surfboards.
Yeah.
I can't get it from, like, traditional manufacturers. I cannot get... But I know it exists, so I've already... talked about this in the last
Like
fucking
hemp
podcast. Hemp cloth
Yeah.
that you can do an epoxy finish with. You can now get like matte epoxies. It's hard to get onto, bro. It doesn't like it. Just the thing is you got this material that has got so many benefits, but you've got all of these other industries that are
It's legislation, red tape,
that are disinterested. And you know this all derives from like the 1920s. There was a pulp mill, right? There was a dude that used to have pulp mills from cutting down trees, and he also owned. It was in the States, of course. He also owned a newspaper. So yeah, he just started saying like they took the word cannabis and they called it marijuana, and they said that black people were fucking raping white girls, you know what I mean? They spread the old fucking demonization, and boom, all of a sudden it took off, and there was the demonization of hash, or whatever.
That's it.
So, man, for me, that plant is the future. And I think sustainability is the future, and I'm excited about the things that we can continue to develop. Hopefully, do a couple more collabs, put out some more cool sunnies. Yeah,
no doubt.
I'm looking at these ones. I think they're pretty fucking deadly.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to it. It's a lot different. It's a lot different to what we're used to at Hashy and Herb, but I think it's going to work. Absolutely.
Well, who knows? So we've got a 12-month plan. We've got a 10-year plan.
Which is based on 12 months at a time.
Just take it easy, man. Yeah. Just take it easy. I tried to just project myself into 10 years, and it's a long way into the future. But I guess what I was trying to say back there, we'll let the audio producer copy and edit and paste all that shit. I think we just keep it raw. I'm loving these conversations, man. I think they're great. But my objective has always been just to live from week to week doing what you love, doing what you're passionate about.
Yeah.
And I think if you find something that you're passionate about and you stick to it and you stay true to it, at some point there's going to be some kind of a development where you can take what you fucking hate doing and leave that, and then do what you love doing and just run with that. But if you never take that leap, and I guess what this whole podcast is about is the fact that you've taken something that you believe in and you're running with it. And I think, and I'm fucking stoked, and I'm passionate about what I do, and I'm passionate about what you're doing, and I'm passionate about what we're going to do together. But continuing to do what you love and keep running with it. So, is there anything else that you want to let the listeners know about or have a chat about? Sorry, guys, we've been having a few red wines this evening as well, so things have become a little salubrious at the end of this conversation.
No, I've been Johnny on the pour, hey, behind the scenes. These little cups don't fill themselves up. But no, I think that in that statement that you, or those last words,
we're gonna wrap it up, man.
Those last words that you're saying, like, ultimately, like, if we can get our local community,
just make it week to week,
buying
bro.
Local, okay,
just pay the bills, bro. If we can help each other pay the bills,
everyone just chip in. Like, you got an idea,
you buy a pair of sunnies.
Don't sit on the couch and dream. Just do it. Like, have a crack.
I'll buy a t-shirt off you, motherfucker.
We've all got to have daytime jobs. Honestly, and you've all got to have a support network, family, a good girlfriend like Kim, or a good wife like Lily. But you, at the end of the day, it all comes down to just taking that leap and
fucking the daytime job off. And how are you going to fuck that daytime job off?
Progressively.
How are you going to eat an elephant, bruh? One bite at a time.
Yeah, there you go. One bite.
No, but like, seriously, that's it, man. Rolling on out of town and plugging away at it. And I'm excited to talk to you in 1 year. And I'm excited to talk to you in 10 years. I can't wait
to come back here in a year and
we'll have a conversation. I'm going to develop this, what we're doing. I'm going to have a chat. And we're going to go global. And it's exciting. So, ladies and gentlemen, on that note, Adios.
Thank you for having me, and talk to you later, guys.
Such a pleasure, mate. Thanks, Elliot.
No worries.
Talk soon, bro.